rings are falling! It's trying to say something. Ow! Stop! Ah! We're showing you vulnerability this episode. Hello! It's me, Nymphia Wind. Isn't my out of the closet appealing? Welcome to Out the Closet, in my closet, in the closet. And in case you didn't know, I'm the winner of RuPaul's Drag Race, season 16. Let's go. I say I'm from Taiwan and I live in New York, Brooklyn. So it like waters down. I'm from Taiwan, I live in New York. And then I live in Brooklyn in the countryside of Crown Heights and this country home. I call it the countryside because I define it by how many people want to travel out here to see me, and that is no one, so I live in the countryside. I will not move to LA because I hate the sun and there's just too much sun in LA. When I was a young age, my mom was always very supportive of me traveling abroad or like studying abroad, because I feel like the world of the West is somewhere where you could be more free compared to Asia. That's like the mentality we grew up in. And I felt like New York was the place to be for culture because I felt like it was a mixing pot of a lot of different people. We are currently in my basement. And this basement is made for Nymphia and my studio space to make clothes. That's why it's messy. This one's really special because I wore this for my performance at the Paris Olympics. And I basically imagined myself as this little butterfly from Taiwan flying to Paris to give you a beautiful show. Get in! And this little baby, if you don't know me already, I'm very into bananas, as you can tell. I have bananas on me all the time. We're gonna relive the fantasy of the finale. This was something I made for the show. I really planned out like my banana outfits. So I knew I wanted to do like the banana for the reveal. It was like my introduction to the world. I was like, hi, I'm a banana. And then I planted second a banana outfit for one of the runways, which was True Colors. That was like my middle like introduction to remind you that, hi, I'm still a banana. And then this finale eleganza, I imagine as my final form of a banana, like the glamified, the extravagant evolution of my banana journey as the banana Buddha. So sometimes I kind of just wish I was like one of those queens which just wore like fishy outfits and just like looks like a real woman, because I feel like the closet would be so nice to just store. But I love dramatic big items. I don't really technically have a lot of like clothes that I could just pull out and wear and look like, you know, I can't do pedestrian drag. Like, I don't have pedestrian clothes. But I feel like now getting on the show, I need more pedestrian clothes just in case I need to go to this event and that event, and then I could just like whip up something to wear. A big part of why I love drag is just making clothes, creating looks, and just like creating these fantastical looks that are like so fantasy and so like dramatic and camp, and it's just like so fun. Now I could be like a really bubbly banana yellow girl if I wear my banana outfit, but I also could be like a dark sexy dominatrix on another day, or just look like a seedy fantasy kind of girl and go out and just like pull straight boys. I don't know. This is like drag gives such a big spectrum of identities you could just play with, and I feel like it's so fun. This was my promo for season 16. And this is the chainmail that was inspired. Ah! And if you notice, in the middle of the chainmail it says Nymphia Wind, which is Nymphia Wind in Mandarin. This little baby is the Pussycat runway. So it is a qipao, a traditional Chinese form of clothing. If you notice this side, it's very sexy. It's all like flesh and then connected with these Chinese knots. I studied fashion atelier in the UK. You're like more assessed on how well you can construct clothes. Instead, where fashion design, it's all about the design. You don't necessarily have to know how to make clothes. But I always knew that I wasn't really interested in fashion design or like the fashion world. I'm more interested in how you construct clothes, how you like design through making. Before getting on the show, I already like imagined what I wanted to look like. So this was basically the first look that I like did for the show. It was like already in my head. Like I already knew how I wanted to appear. I wanted to be a banana flasher and came in with a big hanging banana in my crotch, which is exactly what I did. Bananas! I am obsessed with Juno Birch from the UK, so this was also like a kind of nod to her in my little way, but yeah. I do take a lot of references and inspiration from like couture designers and high fashion designers like Alexander McQueen, Comme des Garçons, and a wide range of other designers. I think I would consider myself a fashion queen for sure, definitely, but more like a unserious fashion queen, like a camp version of a fashion queen. Okay, this little baby was for the 1980s runway and it was very Grace Jones inspired and Keith Haring. So I was hand painting these white stuff at the hotel because I didn't finish in time. This was the middle banana I was talking about. And I wore this for the True Colors runway. What better way to show your true color in banana yellow? This I had made as like a nod to Josephine Baker and Carmen Miranda. These little banana bonkers are made out of cotton and fabric. And I had basically made each individual banana in this shape and then stitched it together. And these are all hand beaded, mama. And a little rhinestone tip. Details! Couture! Self-torture. So my whole banana yellow brand thing was definitely not very strategic. I think it was in 2020. I like made this whole yellow outfit. And I started going out to the gigs and I just like, people call me a banana. I started calling myself a banana. I think it became of a brand because I was like in love with yellow and banana. I'm obsessed. So like everything around me is like banana and yellow. So it kind of slowly developed into the brand of Nymphia. I have so many banana objects. You would be surprised. I even have banana dildos. But I don't use them because they're really uncomfortable shapes. I'm just in love with camp objects. I feel like bananas are like a pop culture signal. You know, with Andy Warhol, I think banana has turned into a pop cultural icon because it's also phallic and it's really camp and it's just fun and it's a delicious fruit and just everyone loves a banana, right? Because it's just so playful. And then yellow is such a playful color. Bananas are really playful and it's just like the best combo. And this little baby is what I wore on the show for the flower runway. And let me tell you, this is all hand quilted by a home machine. It was torture. I was going through some stuff. It was probably the hardest project I had taken on myself because it was just so hard to maneuver this in a tiny little gap, trying to get the needle to stitch through all of these flowers. Being on Drag Race, I was just trying to enjoy every single moment because you don't know how long it's gonna last. Thankfully, it did last a long time. But mentally, you had to be your own cheerleader. You don't have your usual support system. You're always in the fear of going home. My moon is Gemini, so my brain and my thoughts are all over the place. I criticize myself, I judge myself. But also, I had to be, while I'm judging myself, be the person to be like, you know, you could do this, you got this, just relax and enjoy and have fun. So I would stress out in the workroom where the cameras were rolling, but when the cameras weren't rolling, I was backstage in the dark, just like praying that I'm gonna be fine, and then walked on stage. I think this is the look that made me famous, because I think when people saw it, my Instagram following went up by a drastic amount. That's how I define, I think it was a very successful look.
Nymphia Wind.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, this is my high look from the design challenge. Basically, make clothes out of menswear, which is tragic. I made this little skirt that wasn't technically from the father clothing outfit section. It was from the fabric rolls that they provided. You will never stop reminding me that. I basically like deconstructed this shirt, but and then cut it in half and then added these shoulder pads. Honestly, when you really dissect this look, I didn't really do anything that complicated or like crazy constructually, but the look is what matters, and it was effective. And people were like saying how I was like pretending that I don't know how to sew and just bamboozling everyone, and suddenly I made this whole ass outfit. In my defense, first of all, culturally, as an Asian, I am not brought up to be vocal about all my talents and go into a room and scream, I can sew, I do this, I do that. As Asians, we're more like held back, more like demure. And second point, no one asked me if I knew how to sew. Also what I'm known for releasing bubble into the air that flew up to the stage and people were gagging and thirsty for more. That was basically the downhill of Saphira Crystal, I'm sorry. She's gonna watch this and text me to be like, hi, how are you? This is heavy, let me tell you, baby girl. Because they have like sticks here, and we had to like walk upstairs, all the while trying to keep the flying balloons in the cape. So I had to like walk up the stairs and I was struggling. Everything was heavy. I had to balance this little bubble tea up my head. This is my golden banana look. This was made by Diego from New York. And I basically just told him, I want to look all gold. I didn't even say bananas, I just said all gold. This is what I wore when I got crowned the queen of season 16. I'm manifesting becoming a cultural icon of Taiwan and cultural ambassador. I want to like do so much with Taiwan. I want to represent the country. This little baby was made by a designer in Taiwan. This is my talent show fantasy. So it's basically sleeve dancing, a traditional kind of dance. I think the girls were gagged by my talent number because it was so different. I mean, most of them just did like bitch tracks, which is really cute, but everyone does a bitch track. I thought the talent show was an opportunity for me to show a side that the competition doesn't necessarily pull out. So it was my chance to like show my cultural side of Nymphia. This is the outfit I wore to meet the former president of Taiwan, Tsai Ing-wen. And this is inspired by an endemic flower of Taiwan, and it's the yellow pond lily. So this one holds a really special place in my heart because I wore this and breathed the same air as our iconic first ever female president that legalized same-sex marriage in Asia. We're currently in the upstairs realm, and I am standing in front of my step-down look, which is hanged in my living room. And beside me is the whole step-down look. The inspiration was basically clouds, and I was imagining me becoming a deity of the clouds and just having clouds surround me. What's to note that you never got to see in the finale of season 17 are my stiletto heels. No one has ever laid eyes on this. This is from Steve Madden's, and I broke it apart and then like 3D scanned it and 3D printed and molded this base. and then this bird added on top, and then made this shoe. And these are all made with silk organza, and I brushed like glue on them so they like are blended together. They created like a paper-like texture after it dries, and then I would cut them and piece them together and wire them and created this masterpiece. I would name this a legacy piece because it's just something so representative of what I love about my country and why I love to do drag, and continuing the essence of craftsmanship.
Do you think you'll be in New York City forever?
I do not want to live in America forever. Honestly, I feel like New York is a lot. It's like a love-hate. I feel like with Drag Race, you're given the platform and it's really how you carve out your own lane. So I'm currently in the stages of being in a cocoon and trying to find my path and what defines Nymphia. I also want to go into art museum performance, like one-off shows that's very art installation, very immersive, very Marina Abramovic, or like performance art and very artistically informed. And then there's also more of a craft-based exploration. The traditional craft department is slowly dying off because no one wants to sit there for 10 hours just to make, I don't know, a golden banana. How do we find ways to preserve our human history? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, this concludes my closet tour, and we are closed for business. Thank you for coming. You could get a banana next door. We are going to bed. Thank you. Good night.